Buenos dias all! RGT85 here. Hope everyone's having a great day. I had a great Wednesday. The Carvana experience was pretty seamless. I might do like a review just talking about it on the secondary channel when the whole thing is done. I'm still waiting for them to like mail me tags and stuff, but I did get my new Ford Pinto. I'm very excited for my Ford Pinto. Never tell the internet you got something nice or else they'll hate you. But that's not what you're here to hear about. You're here to hear about video game news. And we got a lot of Nintendo Switch crap to go over today. We got rumored system names. We got rumored controllers and leaked controllers. And the Sega Genesis games that we talked about yesterday did come to fruition, so I want to talk very briefly about those games and what they bring to the table. So if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share on the video. We are well on the way to 500,000 subscribers, and without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video game news. And yes, indeed, we did get that big Nintendo Switch Online update with 3 new Sega Genesis games added to the mix of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. I'm all for this. I'm all for adding new games to the service. It increases the value of the service, and really it just gives you a chance to play some games that maybe you haven't played before. So like I said, we got 3 games here. 2 of them I'm actually very familiar with, one of them not so much. So I want to tell you guys very briefly about what these games bring to the table and whether or not you should be playing them. So the first game is Alien Soldier. Now this game, it comes to us from Treasure, and really, if you love Gunstar Heroes like many people do, this game is freaking awesome. Like, it takes the Gunstar Heroes sort of formula, but like ramps it up to like 100. And this game is one of the best looking Sega Genesis games because the character sprites in it are just freaking huge. Like they're massive character sprites, and the gameplay is really fun. Now the game is very challenging. I would say it's more challenging than Gunstar Heroes, but Alien Soldier is definitely a game worth checking out on the Nintendo Switch via the Genesis Online expansion pack. This is a very fun game, and one that you'll probably sink a lot of time into if you're a fan of just high-paced action adventure games. The second game we're going to talk about is Light Crusader. Now, I actually own this game physically, and I like it. It's an isometric action RPG, sort of in the style of like Landstalker, I would say, and it's a really fun game. There's a lot of things to do. You have your standard tropes where you're visiting a town and you're buying items, and then you're going into dungeons and fighting enemies. It is a little bit wonky at first because of the isometric view, and there is platforming in the game as well, so it can be a little bit of an adjustment to get used to it. But once everything clicks, once again, I think this is a fantastic game. It's a lot of fun. It's once again pretty challenging. I mean, most old games are pretty challenging. That's the kind of challenge I like, though. Not a game to be programmed to be difficult just to be difficult, but that's a story for another day. But I do enjoy this game. I think the graphics of the game are very nice, along with the music. So Light Crusader, if you're looking for sort of an action RPG style game, definitely a game worth checking out. And then we have Super Fantasy Zone, which I never got into any of the Fantasy Zone games. Like, they're side-scrolling shooters, and they're, you know, you're shooting stuff. Everyone seems to love these games, but I'm kind of the outsider looking in because I never really got into these games. But now I'm going to check it out. I might as well check it out because I'm paying for this online service. I might as well get the most bang for my buck. But yes, I think these are 3 quality titles added to the service. I still want to see stuff like Rocket Knight Adventures. I mean, it's just a freaking awesome game for the Sega Genesis. I want to see Mortal Kombat 2 so I can do frugalities to people online. But I don't know, maybe they're working on a Mortal Kombat collection, and that's why they haven't done it yet. Maybe, you know, because we haven't gotten any Street Fighter games on there as well. But I want some fighting games. You know, whether it's the SNES, the N64, like, yeah, there's some decent N64 fighting games, or the Sega Genesis, because those will be fun as hell to play online. But a solid update, and like I said, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of these 3 games and whether or not you think I would like Super Fantasy Zone, because like I said, completely unfamiliar with this franchise. And it must have been like torrential rain and hurricane conditions because the leaks were coming for the Nintendo Switch yesterday. But unfortunately, I'm here to keep it real. I'm here to explain to you what these guys about these leaks were, because I saw many people making videos on them. I understand, you know, it's exciting to try to get the first scoop on things and talk about it, but unfortunately for these leaks, there are very reasonable explanations for what they are. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the supposed leak of the new Nintendo Switch system. Now, we've been talking about this. I mean, obviously there is a new system in development. I don't think there's any real question about that at this point in time, when you combine the fact that Nintendo is working on stuff and the Nvidia leak that we talked about a couple weeks ago. There's something happening, but this was about the potential name for the system. Now, this was done by data miners via SDK stuff, and there was something weird that said Nintendo Switch Forward. And a lot of people thought that the Nintendo Switch Forward was the potential new name for the new Nintendo Switch that is coming out, but it ends up being, well, not quite the case. I'm not going to get too detailed about it as far as the nitty-gritty stuff is concerned, because, well, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. I'm not a tech head. Like, I don't know. I just play video games. I'm not really like the smartest character on the block. But what this is essentially was just something for Unreal Engine 4 being utilized in Fortnite. And for some reason, the SDK said something about Nintendo Switch Forward. I guess maybe going forward because of the Fortnite upgrade that was coming, to where they were boosting the game up to a different Unreal Engine that, of course, the game was made in. So I guess it was meaning going forward, not Nintendo Switch Forward being a new platform. You know, I can understand why some people were excited for that. I was pretty interested when I first saw that information, and I was like, what the hell is a Nintendo Switch Forward? We're going forward into the future, but the explanation was simply there, and, you know, it is what it is. You know, people get excited about stuff. I completely understand it. But the second thing, I don't know, that was a bit weirder to me, because once again, a lot of channels were talking about this on my YouTube feed, and I'm like, what are these people talking about? Like, you know, it's cool to talk about stuff, but you also got to kind of rein, you know, your expectations in a little bit. And, you know, like, this was pretty clear to me, and I don't know, I'm not gonna say it was like deceitful to talk about it, but the way some people were kind of, you know, positioning this was just wild to me. We'll say it's just wild. But this has to do with a Nintendo Switch controller leak. Now, obviously, we've gotten a lot of different controllers for the Nintendo Switch: an NES controller, a Super NES controller, a Sega Genesis controller, an N64 controller. So a lot of people are thinking, well, you know, if they add any more systems into this, they're probably going to do a new controller for it. And one of the things that a lot of people are talking about is, of course, the Game Boy Advance. Now, I'm still kind of the mindset that we're going to get Game Boy and Game Boy Color, maybe not Game Boy Advance right off the bat, but, you know, looking back at the Wii U, we had Game Boy Advance stuff, so it wouldn't be a huge surprise. But this patent was floating around that was discovered, that was done by Nintendo last year, and everyone's like, holy shit, soon. This is it, boys. This is the Game Boy Advance controller. And when you first look at it, I mean, yeah, you could definitely make a case for it. Like the button layout, the fact that I'm gonna have it up on the screen here. You look at the button layout, you look at the fact that there is no analog stick. You know, it does look like something that could be potentially a Game Boy Advance controller, but on the actual patent itself, it actually kind of reveals what it is, and it is not that. Basically, we did get a new controller last year. We got two new controllers last year. We, of course, got the N64 and the Sega Genesis. When it comes to both of those controllers, you got to remember, these are wireless controllers, meaning that they're not plugging in, so you need a battery inside of these. And this, which looked like a lot like an N64 controller, just without the big middle nubs and the big middle analog stick that you had, it looks like that for a reason, because this whole patent was just talking about the battery placement for the N64, because you charge it up and then you can use it wirelessly. So, you know, I was surprised that so many people were just like running with this, because I was like, yo, I mean, it's clearly just that. I mean, you know, could it be something more? I mean, I guess maybe, but most of the time you kind of got to look at the practical side of things. You know, I obviously am a firm believer in when there's smoke, there's fire. But when you look at the smoke and you're like, oh, this is coming from the oven, not just a wildfire that's out in the woods, like, it's kind of different, especially when you can explain why. And I feel like this was an instance where it was pretty easily explainable what this was. But once again, you know, there's just been lots of chatter out there about these two things. I'm not here to poo-poo on anyone or rain on parades or say a content creator shouldn't talk about this sort of stuff. I just want to give you my thoughts and my reasoning behind these two things to sort of give you guys a little bit more perspective. I know the clickbait king is trying to be the realist here. What a funny world we live in, right? Woo! All right, I really don't know what that woo was, but you know, it just felt right. Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. But so that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. Be sure to share this video around so the misinformation about these two new Nintendo Switch leaks is corrected. And of course, let me know what you think of the Sega Genesis games in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. If this is your first time on the channel, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think of everything. Let me know if you want me to make a video on the secondary channel about my Carvana experience, because obviously, you know, a lot of you guys are adults. Like most of you guys are adults. You buy cars. I'm sure you're kind of interested in how all that works. And I have to say, so far, it's worked very seamlessly. And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.